So here are 12 things I wish I knew when I first started shooting on Super 8 cameras. And trust me, this would have saved me a ton of money. Number one is clean the goddamn gate. When I first bought my Super 8 camera, the guy literally looked me in the eye and said, make sure you clean the gate before you shoot anything. And guess what I didn't do is clean the goddamn gate. On my first cartridge that I've ever shot on Super 8, there was a hair in the gate. And thank God most of the footage was very, very usable, but there was a ton of beautiful shots that I didn't get to use because they were way too far gone. All you gotta do is every single time you're shooting on Super 8, have a dust blower on you and one of those brushes, and it's really simple. Preferably do both, but sometimes I'm in a rush where I just need to use the duster and I just blow air into it and it works great. That's the bare minimum. Number two is don't be afraid to hold down the trigger button. I know that Super 8 is expensive, but don't be afraid to get longer shots. Sometimes you have to be willing to shoot more than a 5-second clip. Trust me, I get it. That 5 seconds literally is about $5 per that clip. So shooting a full 20 to 30 second shot can literally cost you $30. $30 from one damn shot. So that is very scary to hold down that trigger, especially if you're like on a more lower budget. Some shots are worth holding down that trigger button. Every time I'm watching back my Super 8 footage, I always get so hyped when I actually intentionally sat on the trigger button just a little bit longer. It just hits different. Of course, be cautious with overshooting. I'm not saying overshoot because it can get really expensive real quick. But 2 to 3 longer shots in your entire cartridge won't kill your entire budget. You're good. Number 3 is check the cartridge to make sure that it actually works. You have to do a quick test every single time before you shoot. These cartridges can have malfunctions. They can get stuck. It can sound like they're actually working and they're recording properly, but if the cartridge gets stuck, you're literally not recording at all. And that can be real bad real quick. The way that you prevent that from being an issue is grab a marker, make a quick mark on your film strip, put it into your camera, shoot a couple frames. If the mark is gone, then that means it's working. That means that your cartridge is working and that your camera is actually working properly as well. If the mark is still there, just try it again. Give the cartridge like a little quick tap on the table or something like that, just to kind of loosen it up a little bit, then do it again. Shoot a couple frames, make sure that the mark is gone. Usually by the second try, it should be gone, but I like to even put one more mark on it and test it one more time just to be safe. And if you want to be really professional, you do it throughout your entire shoot. I have a marker on me in my pocket and I do the same process again and again before every single scene. If the next thing I'm capturing is maybe like the first look, guess what I'm doing? I am taking out the cartridge, I am marking it, and I am checking it again. And I'm doing that before every single time. Same thing before the ceremony, same thing before the reception, every time. Number 4, these cameras are loud. And I know there's absolute beauty of the sound of the Super 8 shooting, but I shoot weddings primarily, and of course the ceremony is usually super quiet, and some Super 8s are loud. For instance, this one right here. No matter what, you're gonna have that sound when you're shooting on Super 8, and like I said, there's a beauty in it, but some cameras are louder than others. So depending on what you want to use your Super 8 camera for is something that you want to consider. This actually isn't the main camera that I use a Canon 310 XL because it's kind of quiet. I mean, I like it for a lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons is because it's quiet, and I like that. Number 5, always try to bring a second Super 8 camera. And by the way, notice how all these things are basically precautions. We're shooting on Super 8 cameras. These are cameras from the 70s and 80s, so there's a bit more intentionality that comes with shooting on these type of cameras. You don't have the privilege to go and just put an SD card inside your camera and just run with it. There's a beauty in the ease of digital cameras too, don't get me wrong, but shooting on Super 8, you don't have that privilege. So what you have to do is bring an extra camera just in case. Nothing has happened to me specifically where I needed to actually switch into my backup camera, but it's one of those things I'm not risking that. Number 6 is a quick one. Take the batteries outside of your goddamn Super 8 camera when you're done using it, because erosion of batteries is real. I go to estate sales a lot and run into vintage cameras almost every time. And you know what the number 1 issue I see with these cameras? Battery erosion. Batteries will kill your camera, bro. Take the batteries out when you're done. And trust me, I be forgetting sometimes too, but I'm trying to be disciplined about it. Simply take your batteries outside of your camera and don't just let it sit there for weeks and months with the batteries inside of it. It's so important. Number 7 is another obvious one, but very important. Before shooting something super important, like maybe shooting a wedding, make sure to record a test cartridge. Go out with your significant other and record at the park, record your friend's car, record some nature, get that cartridge developed and see the results. And if it's solid, now you can go and record that important thing with confidence. You most likely bought your camera online, on eBay or a thrift shop, or you found it in your parents' basement. Whatever the case may be, you are not 100% sure it works. Even if the seller says test it, you still don't even know if that it actually works. And what does test it actually mean? They put batteries in the camera, hit the shutter, and that's it? That doesn't necessarily mean that it's working properly. So when you buy a camera from the internet, no matter who you're buying it from, always do a test cartridge first to make sure that it works properly. So those are a few things to consider when shooting on Super 8 cameras. And trust me, I got many more. So if you'd like to hear more tips and tricks, let me know in the comments section and I'll be happy to make more videos. And shameless plug here, if you or someone you know is getting married, me and my girlfriend have a wedding media business where we shoot primarily on film. We do 35mm photography and Super 8 video. Our work is down below in the description if you'd like to check it out. Thanks for watching.